Hello, my name is Richard Simon. I am Cloud Therapist. This is a recall episode with Sam Safdar. We're going to be doing our top 3 episodes from the second half of 2025. You may know Sam Safdar. He's my live stream partner. He also hosts the Cloud Native FM YouTube channel. If you want to catch what we were doing and what were our favorite episodes, top 3 episodes from the first half of 2025, well, there's actually a video out, I believe, on both of our channels. So refer to the description of this video for more details. Did you know that 80% of you watching right now aren't subscribed yet to this channel? Come on, guys, we can do better, surely. So please hit subscribe and the notification bell. It costs nothing, but it really helps me to keep making more videos for you. All right, back to the therapy session. Right, so my top 3 videos for the second half of 2025 are actually really interesting ones that I picked on for this year. The first one is actually a Cloud State of Play episode, the August episode of 2025, which was with Steve Fenton from Octopus Deploy. We picked on our 3 topics were the GitOps report 2025, which was published by Octopus Deploy. So it's really great to go through that with Steve and tease out some of the statistics from the report and kind of dissect the details of that. That was really good. A fantastic report. If you want to check out the details of that, go to the August episode of Cloud State of Play and you'll find the links there. The second topic that we discussed was know your Kubernetes API protocols. Now, there's lots of protocols out there. So Steve and I kind of tried to go through those and try to make some sense of all the protocols, what they're used for, what's the advantages, disadvantages, and so on of all this. That was really good, actually. Enjoyed doing that and actually learning about some of the more obscure ones that we don't necessarily normally hear about. So we normally kind of tend to hear about things like gRPC and stuff like that. But there's lots of other slightly more obscure ones. And obviously choosing the right one and according with the actual article that we were going through, is useful as well. And you need to be kind of you need to know the protocols to make the right choices. Now, the third topic was a blog that somebody put out called "Your Moonshot Does Not Have to Be a Moonshot." It's all about really making decisions on technology choices that will kind of last, the longest. So sometimes when we choose technologies, tend to be a bit of a gamble, or we try to kind of evaluate something new and maybe it doesn't kind of really make it into production. So it was actually interesting to pick on that particular article. Now, there was something puzzling within the articles because the focus for the article was kind of making choices about hardware. Now, I'm not sure if the person kind of knows that there's this thing called cloud computing that exists, because that was the puzzling part for me, because obviously in cloud, we don't really care what the hardware is. We don't care what the badge is at the front. We don't care who made it. We don't care how it's made. We don't care whether it's failed or not, as long as our services are up and running. That part of the equation is in the shared responsibility model with the cloud service provider, and they take care of the hardware side. So a little bit puzzling that the article was focused on that, on the hardware side, but nevertheless, it was good to go through that particular one. So yeah, really great episode. Had great fun with Steve. Steve's kind of very easygoing, a good sense of humor. So we got on really well with that. Definitely will add one again. And Steve, I think, has a broad enough reach in terms of the kind of the various topics that he looks at. Good to pick his brains around things like platform engineering as well. So he'll definitely be back on the channel. And yeah, I also enjoyed the July episode with Sarah Polan as well, which was quite cool. So this was kind of the time when I had a bit of a break, or Paul had a break. Actually, I didn't have the break. Paul had the break from Cloud State of Play, but it also gave me a chance to kind of bring in some new guests into that particular segment. Now, it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention Code to Culture, the platform engineering Unpacked for Enterprises series that both Sam and I have been running really second half of this year. And that's why it's in our top 3 for the second half of 2025. So it had to be obviously mentioned. This was a huge undertaking for both our channels, writing 6 scripts, asking Courtney Nickerson, who's part of the Kyverno project and works at Nemata, to be our resident co-host. So she's the only person who's appearing in all 6 episodes. Can you believe that, guys? Neither Sam or I are actually appearing in all 6 episodes of our own series, which is fantastic to have Courtney supporting us on this as our resident co-host. That was great. Obviously, all the coordination with everybody's calendars, that was also part of this sort of the difficulty, as I said, kind of working out all the scripts for everybody, and considering everybody's kind of in different time zones as well. We've had some guests from the US, had some guests from Europe, had some guests from the UK. That's all been very good, but very rewarding. Learned lots from that. These series is still ongoing. So at the time of publication of this particular video, we're still ongoing in terms of the series as well. And my favorite episode so far from the series was actually episode 2, which was called From DevOps to Platform Engineering, the Enterprise Journey. And as it says, it was really all about kind of, just ordinary customers or enterprises actually trying to get to grips with platform engineering. So I had 2 great guests, and we're always doing 2 guests for every episode. So I had 2 great guests from NatWest joining me for episode 2. And we talked about really lots of stuff, where they started the journey, how did they kind of adapt from sort of the more classical DevOps, if you like, and into platform engineering, things like team topologies, what were some of the challenges along the way, and the ROI as well. And by the way, they said actually they don't measure the ROI, which was quite interesting for them, but not too surprising considering they're a financial institute. But yes, nevertheless, it was really good to do episode 2. But Sam and I've really enjoyed all the episodes so far. I'm looking forward to completing the series as well. Again, link in the for the series and all the episodes will be in the description of this video. My third choice from the second half of this year for videos from the Cloud Therapist channel is actually the AI State of Play episode that I did with Noah Santoni. Now, Noah and I met at the AWS Summit London event, actually at the after party, which was sponsored by the Scale Factory. So shout out to Scale Factory again. That's where I also actually met Mike Mead, who's the product and CTO manager at the Scale Factory. So Mike was actually featured in episode 4 of Code to Culture. So if you want to check that out, go to the channel and have a look at that, and we'll drop the link in the description as well. So he was in the episode 4. He also joined us recently for the AWS reInvent Recall live stream as well, where we reviewed the AWS reInvent conference from 2025. So he dropped in to give us his experience. He was actually out there in Vegas. So that was really cool. But anyway, Noah's a whiz kid when it comes to things like AI agents and N8N and various other things like prototyping applications and so on. So he was really good at actually being able to work through the 3 topics that we actually picked on for this particular episode of AI State of Play, which is covering the second quarter of 2024. We've been going back to 2024 because it's been a pivotal year for Gen AI. So the 3 topics that we picked on for this particular episode of AI State of Play, one was the mixture of experts versus multimodal models. So we went through what does MOE mean and what does multimodal models mean, and kind of the differences, and what does that actually entail. What power, that's compute and energy, do you actually need to train a Gen AI large language model? So this is obviously coming up quite a lot, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it in 2026 as well, covering this particular area with things like some of the sort of really large AI factories that are being built around the world. So this was really interesting. We picked on a video, I believe, that was focusing on this type of power, the power requirements that you need, and so on. There was, I think, an accompanying article as part of that as well. So that was really interesting to go through because there was lots of numbers, lots of stats on that as well. Noah and I went through that. And then the last one, which kind of again started cropping up in that sort of second quarter of 2024, was ML Ops, or what is ML Ops? So again, we went through what does ML Ops mean. We compared it with LLM Ops and various other things, all these other terminology that's actually come out since the whole sort of Gen AI space has kind of been expanding over the course of 23, 24, and obviously into 2025 as well. So those were our three topics. Again, that was my third choice, and the link for that is in the description of this video again. Hey, if you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That would really help me out. Thank you.
So in terms of the 2025, it's been a very wonderful year for me because we started a new series called Code to Culture Platform Engineering Unpacked for Enterprises. We added new faces into the YouTube channel and new top industry folks who doing not just being in the article written style of the conversation, but who do stuff in the real world. And they actually been joined us on the Cloud Native FM and Cloud Therapist YouTube channel to share their experience as well. So I started with the year on the early cosmonic CTOs, and he's been doing some sort of WASM review, and then we move into the pulse in the earlier half of the year, and then I started the platform engineering folks from the very recognized people in the folks as well, and then I started my own content for where I live in, where the tech community is heading in Pakistan. We did some JKE 10th anniversary, and I've recorded a bunch of episodes on cloud with wisdom. So it's harder to pick the top 3 one, but I will start with the top 3 as my top 3 one. The third favorite one on this YouTube channel is like the one I did with Nikki Watts. He's been a wonderful figure in the platform engineering community. He has a ton of experience. Now he started his new company called Open Credo to Trifork UK. So I learned a great amount of deal of the secret code to synchronizing business outcome with platform engineering initiative. Because back in the day when I started in May, there's a trust in the community telling, oh yes, platform engineering can do this, can do that. But where is the business ROI coming in? Like, is nothing happening at the end of the day? Same old DevOps methodologies that people want to purify for it. But with the ROI, and Nick shared some opinion around from the promise of developer portal to multi-cluster control plane, platform engineering. From his terminology, said the umbrella term. And under the umbrella term, you're always been the hidden challenges. And one of those challenges, in that episode, we talk about vocabulary gaps. And that's where, Richard, I remember back in the day when we're doing a live stream with you, and I told you are sitting and you are standing at the platform, and you are going inside the platform, and then you actually pick a platform from your home to go into the conference as well. So that's where I actually ask Nikki Watts is like, vocabulary gaps is huge in the platform engineering. Like the bunch of vocabulary we will be using is not understandable for the rest of the business sector. So what's the ROI of that? And then he told me about unanswered question about modernizing traditional application and infrastructure workflow. And that's a similar talks we always did on our YouTube channel. Yes, this ecosystem is brilliant on the cloud native ecosystem. The new agentic ecosystem is brilliant. But what we do with the modern stack, there's nothing. We can't do any AI. We can't do any cloud native stuff. What should we do that? And I think it's been a very good episode. Anybody wanting to understand the business ROI and moving your legacy application into the newer paradigm with the platform engineering practices. So I think the link is available on the YouTube. You can click on it and watch the full episode. His name is Secret Code to Synchronizing Business Outcome with Platform Engineering Initiative, episode 134 with Nikki Watts, Trifork's UK CTO. So I think another second best video for me in 2025. I think it's very harder to pick the best tops 2 one because it's a bunch of very newer kind of a tool set I actually recorded in my YouTube channel as well, because I think back in the day I recorded some episode on the Pulse from the Open Search. They actually introduced a new platform kind of a capabilities in there. I remember I did have an episode on Perforator, and also I did an episode on Inspector Gadget, a very neat tool in everyone arsenal when you're thinking about it. I also do some of the outage season as well with Richard Simon, but it's harder to pick the top second. But in terms of project, that's very important. So I use it for the top two episode on the 2025. It's called Is Kubernetes Enough to Run Enterprise Large Language Models? I've been searching for this question, finding the answer it for a very long time. What is the pattern for running LLM in Kubernetes? People using operator approach or custom CRDs back in the days. It's been good, it's been challenging, it's been rewarding, and it's been sometime painful task in there. So my search landed me into the LLMD project, which is a sub part of VLLM project by the Red Hat, Microsoft, and AWS. And that's caught my attention, like many big enterprising investing heavily in this solution. So I'm thinking like I invited Cedric Clyburn and Christopher Nolan from the Red Hat about the motivation, about the architecture, the real world uses cases for the LMD, and why the Kubernetes LLMD is gaining popularity now than before. So I think it's a very good episode. Everybody who actually is working on Kubernetes native large language model, they should explore it. And this is some very good key takeaways from the conversation as well, because I think the one thing I really like about LLMD in general, as advertised, it's saying is Kubernetes efficient, scalable, cost effective by introducing cache aware routing, disaggregated serving, pre-fill, decoded, and Kubernetes native scheduling and gateways. So LLMD, I am looking at you very deeply in that 2026 as well, because it has some very neat use cases. Companies investing time in LLMD, LLM making sure it's been cost effective, because Richard always told me on our combined channel, we can't run infinite amount of compute on Kubernetes. There should be some sort of FinOps guardrail, because at the end of the day, company is not paying money, but they're giving so much money back to the AWS. And when they're giving so much money back to the AWS, they end up bringing those money into the NVIDIA. And then NVIDIA bringing those money into the OpenAI. And then some people call it, oh, is it a bubble? Is it an AI bubble, or is something innovative happening as well? But is apart from the jokes aside, LLMD is a wonderful project. Christopher Nolan and Cedric Clyburn did wonderful presentation, and I have high hopes for this project in 2026. So once again, introduction to LLMD, open source Kubernetes framework for distributed LLM inference. Sorry for the big name, but that's the title for the episode 140, and that's my pick for top 2 in the Cloud Native FM list of episode I recorded. So if you agree with me, comment something so I can say my viewers actually align with me on my top 2, or they have some different opinion as well. So my my favorite one that I recorded in 2025, I think there's a very tough for me to pick again. But in terms of the visibility, I'm actually picking this for my top 1. And thank you very much for Richard for introducing me into this topic and connecting me with a very, very right person on this topic. And that is digital sovereignty. And I think I'm missing this piece on this my YouTube channel. And the reason why I think it should be the top pick, because it's never been out of the very corporate sector, but suddenly it's a push that everybody should be taking care of it. In terms of that AI innovation is happening, and companies, Europe, America, and bunch of the different places putting some controls on leaking their data, because at the end of the day, they don't want LLM train on some sort of some sort of filtering on some sort of data. So digital sovereignty, I think, is a wonderful topic I covered on my episode. And tons of thank you for the Gabriel Gora, head of infrastructure security and risk at T-System International's Cloud Professional Services. So he joined me and he said to me, like, digital sovereignty appeared as a business imperative because of the tariff, geopolitical reaction, and vendor risk. And the way he emphasized on these three things is very vital to understand the backstory of why we're talking about the digital sovereignty. He said the risk, that there is always is a risk associated with it, the financial risk, that is tariff, reciprocal measures, operational risk, service denial, vendor insider risk, and the technological risk, that's our IP exposure, hardware and software dependencies. Then there's always been a debate around data residency versus sovereignty, how they relate and why residency alone isn't enough, role of open source and why it helps and where it doesn't fully solve the problem. And he actually told me some of the story how T-System approaches to the digital sovereignty by adding exposure analysis, risk classification, roadmap, contingency plan, trade-off on cost, functionality, and portability. Because remember, if you do digital sovereignty tomorrow, your cost might be triple down, and end up you're paying the customer paying the same price they will be paying for you for a very long time. But in terms of managing their setup on infrastructure on cloud, you end up paying so much, consuming so many hardware, so much money, and that would be not a suitable business for you. And that should require exposure analysis and risk classification as well. So I encourage everyone who's been in the pivotal discussion on digital sovereignty, watch the episode I did with Gabriel Gora, and there's one more coming up in 2026, beginning of it, because there are some very key factors we missed out in this episode that we will be doing again in 2026 as well. But thank you very much, Gabriel, for joining me on my YouTube channel, and your debates on digital sovereignty give us a perfect and solid roadmap to things we need to consider going into the 2026. So if you are agree with me that the Cloud Native FM 2025 top 1 episode is digital sovereignty, so please comment. That's way I would know like my thoughts and my thoughts are aligned or not.
Well, that's it for this particular video of Recall. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Please tell us what you guys think, and tell us maybe what your top 3 videos were from our mutual channels. It's been fun actually looking back at the second half of 2025. Please don't forget to subscribe to our mutual channels. It's my channel, Cloud Therapist, and Sam Safdar on his Cloud Native FM. That's it for this time. We'll see you soon.